I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Join Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar and lose the weight, stop smoking, or end anxiety for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. Due to coronavirus, the seminar will now be online live Thursday, January 28th or Saturday, January 30th for the Fort Dodge area. Get all the details at markpatrickseminars.com. Register now at markpatrickseminars.com.
Divine Intervention is online at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at jmike1400.
That's right. You can reach us at any of those places, and you can always call us at 955-1400. That's been the KVFD radio number for 50 years or more. I don't know. But, we're talking sports with Randy Kuhlman and Neven Mulholland. We covered a lot of ground in the last 20 minutes, and I think we will this 20 minutes as well. Well, let's talk about St. Edmund sports and senior high sports. Just briefly, St. Edmunds played just the other night.
Eagle basketball.
Eagle Grove, right?
Yeah. They're not bad. They're under 500. I tell you, the disparity. It's getting tougher and tougher to hang in that North Central Conference, and they're an A-size school now, and many of the teams in the conference are 2A with some 3A teams.
Right.
Some of the schools are actually getting a little bigger. And so it's been tough on them. They hang in there. They compete. But winning night in and night out is going to be a chore. Saying that, once you get through that, you ought to be battle tested for the tournament, and at A class. Problem is they've run into Garrigan for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Garrigan's been very good. Man, they've had some athletes up there, basketball players to say the least.
Well, they benefited greatly from those school consolidations, especially Bancroft St. John's, which was a huge baseball school for many, many years. And Garrigan, frankly, with all those big farmers up there from the Wesley Luverne area, they've always been tough in sports. I went up to see a high school football game one time. I can't remember the circumstances because I didn't usually go to Garrigan games. But their front line, these are high school kids, their offensive line, all four of the kids were 300 pounds or more. And this is in a little town in north central Iowa. I mean, the offensive line were just huge kids, But anyway, 515-955-1400 if you'd like to join the conversation. You know anything about senior high, Randy?
Well, the Dodgers are both boys and girls are. They've won a couple games, but they're having some tough years right now.
Okay.
Some growing pains and then competing in the CIML with those Des Moines teams right now is kind of taking its toll on them.
Yeah.
But the Dodger girls have had a couple of wins, and I think they feel like they're improving, and they've got some of those good softball athletes on their basketball team. So they're competitors and they're athletic. And so they've had a couple nice wins.
What's a fast growing sport in this country is girls wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. My little granddaughter was out for wrestling last year in Marion. She did okay, but she's a cute little girl.
Yeah.
Wrestling another cute little girl. They're out there wrestling each other around.
It's interesting.
It's okay when they're cute little girls.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know, but I mean, as they get older, then it.
When they get cauliflower ears, I was thinking.
I noticed the other day, this Aaron Graves. That's a heck of a football player for
Right.
Southeast Valley,
Right?
and he's one of their best basketball players. He's 6'5", 6'6" kid. He also wrestles.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't know that.
That's
Yeah.
unusual.
They had a picture of him wrestling, so he's doing both basketball and wrestling at
Wow.
the same time. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Well, they used to have every now and then they'd have a heavyweight wrestler that also played football. But he was a heavyweight guy.
Played basketball, you mean?
Well, no, I haven't heard of too many football players that also play basketball, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
do.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Everybody saying that's played football and then played basketball.
Well, now you're talking St. Ed's and high school level, but I mean at the college level and above.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if they're really good football players, they're probably really good athletes, and they play. Yeah, but you don't see them playing wrestling and basketball. It's the same season during the same time. That's what's so unusual about it.
Yeah, that is a little. Yeah. I don't know how our wrestlers going to do this year anyway. If they're going to get a season or not, be able to go to state and all those things. You know, they have been on the mat, of course, but
so far so good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much in the way of cancellations or wrestlers unable to wrestle
Right.
because of the virus. I mean, it seems like, you know, they've done a pretty good job there. I'm impressed, to be quite honest. Now, this weekend, you know, you've got the big boys starting. Iowa State. I mean, I know they've started, but there's some big meets this weekend. In fact, Iowa, Nebraska, Mike, is Sunday.
Iowa, Nebraska,
And Hawks
Sunday.
are number 1, and Nebraska's number 6 in the country.
Are they really?
Yeah, that
Nebraska?
will be that'll
Whoever the coach is over there in Nebraska, I can't remember his name.
Manning.
Yeah, he's done a
Manning.
good job. Because
Yeah.
Nebraska was nobody for anybody to worry about.
They've been
in
pretty
wrestling.
good at wrestling, Mike. The last,
Wow. I've
Yeah.
been following wrestling a long time.
well,
Nebraska-
last 10 years, they got a guy by the name of Burroughs. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Have you?
Burroughs?
Oh my God. Yeah, he's world champ.
Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who
Okay.
Jordan Burroughs is. Just messing with him over there.
I haven't heard of him, so don't feel bad. I haven't heard of him.
Jordan
I'm a
Burroughs?
big wrestling fan, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I know who Jordan is. Yeah, there's he wrestled. God, Jordan Burroughs.
Actually, there was really, Randy, you may have read this today. That article in the Register about the kid from Missouri was quite long, but quite interesting. Did you happen to
I didn't read it.
Well, this guy is it, do you know who I'm talking about, Mike? He was
Who are you talking about now?
the kid from Missouri that transferred from Missouri for his last year to come to Iowa to wrestle.
I've been reading about him.
Okay.
He's a big deal,
Yeah.
but it was a real interesting article
Where did you read that in
in
there?
the Register.
In
In the
the front page
Yeah.
of the sports
Yeah,
page.
Yeah,
Was that today or?
it was today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it Iman? Does that sound right?
I don't know.
Set it up. They had a picture of him and everything, and
Yeah, he's got a few tattoos.
I think
He's got his
he
whole
does, doesn't
his
he?
whole life history is in ink on his body.
Maybe I read
Truly.
it. Maybe the Messenger actually beat the Register on a story this year.
No, Mike, switching back to basketball, I
All right.
noticed you're jumping on the bandwagon wearing that Gonzaga
Yeah, wow.
shirt there. Geez, they're number one. All of
Oh
a sudden
my
he
God,
shows
all
up
of a
with
sudden he's got
Gonzaga.
it.
Yeah.
That's
love,
right.
love my Zags.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You guys know it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Always
Get
have
out of the
been.
way, Creighton.
Always have been.
No, I took that trip out to Spokane in October.
The one
Oh,
that about
sure,
killed you.
One that nearly killed me. When we went by Gonzaga's college, I told my friend, pull in here, I got to buy some Gonzaga
Okay.
stuff. So he did.
Did you walk the campus or did you look around?
We
or
looked
anything?
around a little bit. It's,
Is it a,
Spokane's about the size of Des Moines,
oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. There's
I'm surprised it's that big. Okay,
Yeah, I didn't
realize
know it
it
was that big.
and it's a very nice city. It doesn't remind me of any city in Iowa, not surprisingly, but it's a very nice city, and the campus. The campus was like any smaller college, I guess.
I was curious what it looks like.
Yeah.
I just envision a pretty campus.
I don't even know how many students do they have. About 8,000 or
Yeah,
something?
it's
I don't
not
know.
a big school.
Yeah.
It'd be similar to your typical Jesuit, and it is a Jesuit
school, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's obviously a Catholic school. I mean,
Yeah.
that should be.
Yeah.
but
They
it
made no bones about that.
I put it 5 to 8.
Yeah. Well, it's been the Hawks are still hanging in there. They're ranked 6th in the country, and they have a battle every night in that Big Ten.
But you know what? They're playing well.
They are playing
really
well.
are.
Now that Bohannon's really come back and being Bohannon again.
Boy, I'm not a fan, but you cannot understate how good he's been. And when he's this good, they are really a handful.
Right.
You know what? And he has been. He has been. Boy's been good. But I look forward to the Michigan-Iowa game. Let me tell you.
Michigan's good. Yeah.
Michigan, from what little I've seen of them, and I haven't watched a full game yet. I watched a little bit of the Wisconsin game. That's a heck of a team.
Yeah.
Look out.
Just as a reminder of how sick our world is, a couple of employees of the Iowa Department for the Blind have been fired for sexually abusing some of the patients there. God, who does these things? Oh,
I
she's
don't
blind.
know.
She'll never know it was me. I mean,
Oh my God, Mike.
That is disgusting, isn't it?
It is
That's
disgusting.
totally disgusting.
And then of course, Iowa's game with Michigan State, which would be a big game, has been postponed because of COVID with Michigan State. But hopefully, they don't lose many games. From
Right.
cancellation. But basketball in Iowa right now. Of course, Creighton just across the border. They're playing great basketball. And then my Bulldogs are playing great basketball too.
And they got bit by the COVID.
Yeah,
bug,
they did.
though.
Who did, Drake?
Yes,
and
and
coaching staff, I think it was.
Oh, was it
Yeah.
really? I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it was the coaching staff.
Well, they're the most likely ones to get it, to be quite honest. They really are.
Probably are.
Because they're
not in the bubble as much.
They're not.
Yeah.
And they're socializing and they got families and their
Yep.
wives and kids are out. And and so that's the toughest part, is keeping these coaches,
And the interesting thing, Mike, I don't know if you saw this, but the whole NCAA tournament is going to be held in Indianapolis.
I
this
did
year.
see that. We talked about this a little bit last week. And is that just COVID prevention? Or?
Yep.
whatever it takes. I don't care what it takes,
They,
just as long as we
they
get
must
it
be
in.
playing some of them in high school gyms over there.
Well, they're going to play some in Bloomington, some in
Oh, are they?
West Lafayette.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
as
didn't know
well as then you got. I don't know if I got to believe they're playing at Butler and at.
But you don't need a big crowd space
No,
because
and I think they're going to set up 2 courts inside of the Lucas.
Oh, are they really?
I think so.
Oh,
Not that they're going to play them at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't get that, but yeah, I think they're gonna. It's
It'll
pretty
be
interesting.
Yeah.
The way they're going to do it.
Well, we're going to have to talk about the Jays, aren't we, Randy? I mean, we can't get through a sports segment without talking about Creighton here now.
You might jinx them. We're playing really well right now. So
Are they playing tonight or not?
they play tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Play
You've
Butler.
had 2 blowout
Oh, they
games.
play Butler. Yeah,
Yeah.
you said that.
Yeah. No, they played well. And they're playing, their last game was without their starting All-American point guard, and they didn't miss a beat. They scored 56 points in the first half against St. John's without him. And, when you lose your point guard, most of the times he's probably your most critical player on the team.
Yeah.
Unless you're Garzella. But, they really are. So they're playing well. They're deep. They're really deep.
They are deep and they're athletic.
Yeah, they're very athletic.
You're probably one of the most athletic teams Creighton's had in a long time, isn't it?
Yep. I would say they are the most athletic.
With Jefferson and Mahoney and then the backup point guard is a heck of an athlete too.
And I'll tell you what, O'Connell, the kid from Duke, is athletic as all get out.
Mm.
He can really go, and he gets up, and and Sharif.
And
Smith-
That was a weird thing that he left Duke for Creighton. I mean, no offense to Creighton, but
Yeah.
Duke's a top school. But do you know why he did that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I listened to an interview with McDermott. It was funny because they said, "Well, what did you do to? Tell us about the recruitment of this O'Connell from Duke?" He says, "I think the way we got him was I never met him." I think that was key. First of all,
didn't turn him off.
never met him. He said that O'Connell recruited them as much as they recruited him.
Wow.
And that his only contact with him was by Zoom, and he was looking to expand his game, and he's trying to find a program that fit his game. Duke's not an up and down team. They're more structured, I would say. More set oriented and more looking to their forwards and their postmen as opposed to their guards. They're a different style of ball. And so he thought that Creighton fits his style better, and he had a year left. So he came to Creighton.
So he's a senior this year?
He'll get another year.
Oh, yeah.
This is a free year. He wasn't going to play this year. And he knows he's familiar with their strength and conditioning program. And we've gotten a very good strength and conditioning coach. He's terrific. And we got him about 3 years ago, and he's been really, really good. And he
doesn't have
reputation.
ties to the area necessarily.
None. He's from Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
You know who graduated from Duke Law School? Richard Nixon.
Did he really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he graduated. Guy from California goes clear
Right.
to North
That's
Carolina.
What
But Duke was probably one of the premier schools for law at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it still is. I don't know.
It is.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay.
Good law school, good med school, all the professional schools at Duke, good undergrad.
The thing that's fun this year about college basketball is the blue bloods are down. You know, Kentucky's down, Duke's down, North Carolina's down. Excuse me. Kansas is still ranked in the top 10, but they're not
not
near-
Kansas.
No, you're right. They're not the normal Kansas team. And you're seeing other teams come up in that top 10 that, you know, haven't been there in a long time. Of course, Gonzaga's always there, but, you know, Baylor's tough. Of course, Villanova's always there, but you got Iowa and you know, now Michigan, Creighton, Wisconsin's 9, Tennessee's 10. I mean, it's just nice to see those blue bloods suffer a little bit.
Right. But even I would not even call Gonzaga or Villanova blue blood. I mean, they're still
Right.
they've been really good
Mhm.
recently. And so it's different. I agree with you. I think it's great. And there's some other teams out there like a Houston.
Yep.
Texas is kind of now they're, you know, but they're back. You
Yep,
know, they've
Texas
been
is back.
down and out. You're seeing a lot of new actors. but-
Clemson. They're
Yeah,
not-
Clemson's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's done a great job. He is so close to getting fired. I think it's Brownell down there.
Okay.
And he was lucky to hang in there from you know, he's had really good teams, but they not good enough.
Yeah.
And so
What's happening with our poor old Cyclones here just before we wrap it up on the basketball floor?
They're real young, and they're, you know, they've had some injuries. A couple kids, good players that have lost their season due to injury, and but young teams can be up and down. You know, they played Texas really well. Was it Texas?
yes.
Then they played almost. They should have beat West Virginia. They played West
Right.
Virginia on the road really well. They played
Played-
Baylor really tough.
Yeah.
And then they laid an egg against Texas Tech at home the other day, and now they're playing Kansas. Is it tonight they play Kansas?
Not tonight.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
tomorrow.
think.
They're
Yeah.
playing at Kansas. That'll be a tough one, but
They're going to be hard pressed to win a game.
yeah.
I mean,
Not bad, huh?
no, that's you know,
That big,
well, the Big 12 first of all is pretty good.
yeah, they don't have any bad. I mean, other than
You-
K-State,
K-
maybe they don't have
and
any
K-State's,
real bad teams.
You know, has already beat them once.
Yeah,
And I know, but there's no continuity here. You got 5 guys that didn't even know each other, I swear, before the season started. And then you have no preseason and you have no practice. That's really hard on teams that aren't veteran teams.
Yep.
You know, when you're trying to pull it together and bring a bunch of new cast of characters together and create chemistry and figure out what it is they can do, you know, what piece of the puzzle they fit. Do they know their role? I watch them. I don't know who does what when I'm watching them. No, and I
Well,
don't
you're
mean
right.
that as a criticism.
No, you're right.
I'm just saying it's hard. And I feel bad for Prom. It all goes way back to the guys that went pro.
right.
And by the way, Iowa State's pro players right now are killing it. Taylor Horton Tucker averaging double figures for the Lakers. He is getting
Is he
rave
really?
rave reviews.
Wow.
Tyrese Halliburton averaging 12 a game, 28 minutes a game. I mean, getting rave reviews.
Where does he play?
He's at Sacramento.
Sacramento.
And he is, you know, you can just pick up any article about the Kings and you'll hear Luke Walton raving about him. You know, I read an article a couple days ago about how Phoenix, had they taken Halliburton, and I think they had a chance, they would be unbelievable. That was a
Really?
major screw up on their part.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Great sports talk. As always, I was the spark, of course. 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. What? No reaction to that? Okay.
Hi, this is Gary Rima, the voice of the University of Northern Iowa Panthers, and this is the home for Panther Sports, the voice of Fort Dodge, KVFD, Fort Dodge.
Out of the warehouse and into people's arms. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. As global deaths from COVID-19 reach 2 million, President-elect Joe Biden outlines his strategy for vaccine distribution.
This is a time to set big goals, to pursue them with courage and conviction, because the health of the nation is literally at stake.
He says the vaccine rollout so far has been a failure. He's proposing a new streamlined approach.
We will immediately work with states to open up vaccinations to more priority groups. The process of establishing priority groups is driven by science, but the problem is the implementation has been too rigid and confusing.
And he says he will use the Defense Production Act to expand the manufacturing of the vaccine and vaccination supplies. He has pledged to deliver 100 million vaccines in his first 100 days in office. Meanwhile, there are new concerns about the variant of the virus.
The Centers for Disease Control say the new variant of the coronavirus discovered in Europe as well as in some U.S. cases could become the dominant form of the virus in the U.S. in a matter of months. Data published in the agency's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly report says the variant, labeled as B117, will spread and could maybe spread more fiercely than existing versions of the virus, prompting more use of mitigation. Vaccine makers Pfizer and Moderna say their products will provide immunity against the variant. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The National Rifle Association has filed for bankruptcy. It says it will move its headquarters from New York to Texas. This comes months after New York Attorney General Letitia James sued over claims executives illegally diverted tens of millions of dollars for personal trips and other questionable expenditures. In a press release, James wrote she will not allow the NRA to use bankruptcy to evade oversight. America's listening to Fox News.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor.
Half man, half motorcycle.
If you miss the turn, there's always another turn. Take it to get back to the turn you missed.
Use your turn signal.
Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
With your KVFD News update, I'm Rob Jones. U.S. Congressman from Iowa's 4th District, Randy Feenstra, has joined the Biofuels Caucus, a bipartisan group of lawmakers forced on supporting biofuel producers by defending the renewable fuel standard and fighting for expanded access to higher biofuel blends. Feenstra said, quote, "As the number one state in ethanol and biodiesel production, it's imperative that Iowa's biofuels producers have a seat at the table in Washington. Not only does this industry support roughly 50,000 jobs in Iowa, it also provides our farmers with additional market option. The people of Iowa's 4th District elected me to deliver results, and I look forward to working with my colleagues in the Biofuels Caucus to get results for this critical industry," end quote. Jim Kirsten is the Vice President of External Relations and Government Affairs at Iowa Central Community College. He recently spoke on various topics related to the college. All colleges and universities seemingly have been impacted economically by COVID-19 to varying degrees. Kirsten says that Iowa Central did receive some funding for COVID relief.
Federal relief package that we got provided $3 million of support and relief funds to the college, of which half, $1.5 million, had to be used to help students cover the costs they were dealt with as they transitioned on to online.
Kirsten went on to talk about how the college has used that funding.
Iowa Central has done a good job of distributing the $3 million. We only have about $53,000 left of unspent money. And with the bill the president signed a couple weeks ago, we now can carry that $53,000 forward to help us cover continued losses.
He then went on to talk about the departure of Iowa Central's now former president, Dr. Dan Kinney, who took the position of president at Iowa Western.
His dad retired from that college, and his mom's not in the best of health. I just think he saw the opportunity open, and he thought it'd be a neat tradition to follow his dad's footsteps.
Kirsten would then talk about the process of finding a new president for Iowa Central.
So now, we're going to have a search, and I think I heard Mark Crimmins say, our board chair, that we might have up to 18 applicants already. That cutoff for applications is January 28th. No later than July 1, I think you want to have the first